Oh my God. Oh, I was just kidding. This is the Bible. I don't have a, you know,
Some scary
a
stories.
demon book. There are some pretty scary stories in here.
Yeah.
Guys, welcome. We just got back from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. The film adaptation from a book by Alvin Schwartz. Yeah. And this one is produced by Guillermo Del Toro. He did not direct it. I'm not familiar with the director here. He did a few other horror films.
Troll Hunter.
And yeah, Autopsy of Jane Doe, which I think was better than this. But let's get right down to what we think of scary stories to tell in the dark. Joe, is this a scary movie?
I think
No.
it kind of was. For me, it was. It's a PG-13. This was an enjoyable watch. I did have fun with this. Like,
But were
it
you
started-
scared? He asked you a direct question. You're dancing around the question. Were you scared?
Maybe once.
No.
Maybe once. That's about it.
Alex, were you scared?
No.
Okay. I go to scary movies to be scared.
Yeah.
Now, granted, this wasn't a complete failure. I
No.
see where Joe is trying to find some bright spots to start the video off, which let's start the video with the bright spots. Joe, what's the bright spots?
I did like it. The kids acting were pretty good.
Yeah.
I did like Chuck. His character actually won me over. He was the best one in my eyes.
Yeah, I loved him, Joe. I'm so happy he's your favorite character. Your favorite character?
He liked Augie.
I think I like Augie,
No,
yeah.
Chuck, way better. His comedy is so
I
spot
like
on.
the
He
humor.
actually like says things that you would say like if shit was going down, and he had his sister closes the door in his face while he's eating a banana. He's like, I'm a banana.
He reminded me from the kid from Shazam.
Yeah, exactly. He's a really funny guy.
Yeah.
I really liked his character. And so the kids, I think, in the film actually do a good job. What sort of lets down the film maybe is the PG-13 rating.
For sure.
They did have some scary looking grotesque effects, especially the last story towards the end in the film. But you could tell it was holding back. And because it was holding back, I didn't really feel much tension, like shit was gonna go down, like something crazy was gonna happen or some grotesque. And when you don't have that threat, it's not too scary. Now, for children, okay, this was a children's book, or at least Melissa, my girl, read it when she was young.
I got it at the Scholastic Book Fair.
That was-
That's
Ah,
what
you
it was.
remember that
Those are
shit,
the
Joe?
best, yes.
And then we buy the little pencils, and we got the little, and then
Yeah.
there was candy, and then, okay, anyways. But yeah, so for children, I think if you brought a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, this movie would scare the hell out of them. Right?
I thought it was still pretty scary because, like, honestly, Tommy died. All right. So he died, and you already have one person missing already, and then
Did they die, though?
Joe, what are you doing?
He's spoiling the whole movie.
no, that's in the trailer
Oh, that's true.
What's in the trailer?
where Tommy dies.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
The Scarecrow.
Okay, well, blame it on Joe, not me, because I didn't
Well,
do
yeah,
nothing.
that's the only one I'm gonna
I'm trying
say.
to.
what's-
Okay, all right. Keep going.
Okay, so they kill Tommy, and that's when it basically starts happening, and they're trying to get to the bottom of it. And I'm like, oh, look, there's some tension right there. Already, it's getting some points for me as opposed to The Conjuring, because that's also PG-13. This one was too.
No,
and we
no,
get
no.
a kill right there. I'm like,
Yeah.
already boosting it.
Yeah,
So
no,
there
get me
was
wrong.
some tension.
Tommy's death was interesting. I liked the way they filmed it. I thought it was sufficiently creepy. The fat lady that you see in the trailer, she was a little creepy. You laugh
That's Andy
at first.
Serkis.
Yeah.
You laugh at first, is it?
That's yeah.
Okay, it makes
that was
sense.
creepy.
He does a lot of those CGI and good characters. Her face made me laugh at first, but then as she's slowly closing in, you're like, oh, this is a little more creepy than I thought. But the payoff, not quite there. I think that's where the problem is. A lot of the payoff is not quite there. So the original books had 29 stories, I think.
In the first one, yeah, something
in
like
the
that.
first book. That's a lot of stories. Obviously, that's kind of untenable in a film.
Yes.
So they chose some of the best ones, and then they tied it together with an overall narrative, mostly having to do with the haunted house. What is the backstory of this house? Who is this girl, Sarah, telling these stories? And these stories are essentially writing themselves, and how do they get this to stop before they die? And I thought that was well executed for explanations on how you get all these stories to happen.
Yeah,
at
I
one
like the
time.
investigation parts in horror movies, like putting the pieces together is kind of like what I like sometimes.
But it's just, I just wasn't. It was maybe the pacing. I don't know. Like, I just wasn't as engaged as I had hoped to be.
There were side quests and there was visits in their investigation that ultimately led somewhere else, but were really long for what the payoff of their
really
investigation was. And so there were some parts where they kind of lost me. And I, like you said before, I think it's the PG-13 that hurt me so much because they set up the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is great. And the kid's alone, and the kids are scared. Weird stuff starts happening. And then something happens, and it's immediately over because they can't and won't show you anything that could be, more creepier or scary.
Or violent.
Yeah. And so there were some problems there. I think that the monsters having...
No violence. I mean, there's one or two things, but it's like this
real short.
passive kind of violence.
Mm-hmm. The monsters can bend time and space, and so once you show that the monsters are all powerful and can teleport, then the next time you show me a scene where someone's slowly creeping towards you, I don't care anymore because you've shown me that you can be you can teleport there, you can teleport there, you can do this, and then now you're under the bed and you're in a closet. It's like, well, why am I running away? Why am I supposed to be scared for this kid? Because you've showed me this kid is dead, or whatever.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. It's just the fact that maybe the film had to take so much time to build up these characters because quite clearly they're looking for a trilogy. I looked it up. There's 3 books.
Okay.
And then there's some side books, compendiums, and things like that. And I think towards the end, they kind of sequel bait really hard. And I was hoping for a complete story, kind of satisfying. But man, are they fishing for more. They want to do more scary stories to tell in the dark. And then what's the third one?
I think even more. Yeah.
Scary stories. So they're trying to set up a universe, and the way they talked about it and kind of what they're going to do, we'll talk about in the spoilers, not right here, made me think of Stranger Things, but just way more poorly done. Just no comparison kind of thing. So I like the characters in Stranger Things a little more. I like the monsters in Stranger Things a little more. I like the tension, the danger, the interactions. And this story unfortunately felt derivative. It felt generic, mediocre. And I was hoping for better. Now, I don't know if that's because the books were written a long time ago. I'm not a book reader of this series.
They're like single-page stories, and they're really grasping for whatever they can because if you read the stories that were in here, you're like, man, they really built something amazing based on the a single page thing. It's
exactly.
4 paragraphs.
So in that sense,
That's
they
what
did
they
execute these short stories well.
Yeah.
And the visuals, the way the monsters look, are great too.
Yeah, and I think that has to do with the influence of Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, practical effects, lots of them.
But when Guillermo del Toro is attached to the project, do you expect a little more?
I do, but at the same time, these readers are already adults. I was hoping they would target the adult audience and get that R rating.
Yeah.
But it sucks. It didn't.
Gotta make money.
Okay, so great actors, kid actors that we liked. We liked the characters. We just felt like it needed to be a little meaner, a little more scary. We are telling scary stories in the dark, but it felt more like an adventure movie, like a
it started investigative at the end, though.
An investigative adventure film, but then a little bit of cool monsters at the. I like that last monster. I liked. Okay, where you get the cops involved and everything, and then it kind of opens up, and there is some CGI in here, but I think they mix CGI with some practicals, but it's mostly CGI, and I expected that to sort of ruin the effect, and it kind of does a little bit in terms of full shock. But they are full displaying this thing all the time, this final monster, and it was still effective because it was so creepy. And so for that monster alone, kind of really helped save the film for me a little bit. But anyways, let's go ahead and do final verdict so that we could talk spoilers. OtherJoe, what are you thinking?
It started off strong. I was really engaged in it, and I was scared once.
OtherJoe began to give his rating for the film.
Who said
Little
that?
did he know that right behind him was a massive, massive spider that just jumped on the back of his head. Then it dug it.
You stop it! You stop it right now.
I was waiting for you to make me say
it started
stop.
Pretty
Joe.
good. But then at the end, it started falling apart for me. A 7.
Wow.
I think this is better than The Conjuring, obviously, because...
What? The original Conjuring?
No.
Conjuring 1?
No. Here, wait,
Oh.
He was talking about Annabelle
Comes Home.
Okay.
And that bullshit. It's
That's
better
called
than that.
Annabelle Comes Home, Joe.
They're both PG.
Because if you said this is better than The Conjuring,
No. That's different.
All right.
Because they were both PG-13. This one was better for the rating.
Mm-hmm.
And I did feel the tension, even though you didn't. And like I said, yes, it killed off Tommy, the character.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was there.
Yeah.
The tension.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to give it a 6. I think it loses a couple points because I think that they didn't do a very good job with the bad guys as far as the teleporting thing. I had a really big problem with because they do this in so many of these movies. I think that...
But the teleporting was only one of the stories, Alex.
3. 3 out of 4.
All right, but keep... Yeah.
So 3 out of 4 of the bad guys could teleport and just be wherever they wanted or like bend time and space. And so once you show me that this entity is so powerful, then it just kind of breaks down the tension. So I just didn't feel the tension in some of these scenes like Joe did because it's a foregone conclusion that this 9th grader is not going to be able to bend time and space, and so they're probably not going to be able to beat the evil thing. I think they did because this was targeted at a younger audience. I think that they did a poor job. They really went over the top, saying
it targeted at a younger audience?
PG-13.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think they were trying to grab both pieces of the pie, and in doing so, watered it down.
Yeah, so there's a bad kid that you're supposed to know is the bad kid, and they went.
But he never really does anything super bad.
But he goes like
except for the car.
Oh, he kind of goes way over the top where they do so many things like this is the bad kid. Don't feel bad for him. And
yeah, but I was hoping that he'd do some real fucked up.
Yeah.
He does that with the car, but still.
Yeah. So I wanted it to be better because I remember loving the kid, like the book growing up, but I just don't.
Your imagination is way better than anything.
Yeah. So that's probably why Joe, his rating's a little lower because he actually read the book, didn't quite live up to his imagination and how he thought it would be. You haven't read the book?
I have, but it's like
Okay.
I don't think it was. I don't remember which one it was.
I mean, the pictures in the book were creepier than anything written in there for sure.
Yeah,
like
I think they tried to take it out of schools at one point.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 6, 7. I kind of want to. Initially, I wanted to give this a 5. Because I think they got half of everything right. Half of the time I was really engaged. The other half of the time I was a little bored. I think it's a mixed bag. When you have heavy hitters like Guillermo Del Toro involved, I expected maybe a tiny bit more. Maybe I set my expectations a little too high. I haven't read the book. But I did like the monsters. Mm-hmm. I did like the way they filmed it, and I liked the kid characters. And it's not a bad film by any means. Mm-mm. So I think that helps rise it a little bit, helps it punch above its weight. Because the stories aren't necessary. You're not seeing anything new here. Nothing's going to shock you. And unfortunately, it does kind of feel a little watered down with that PG-13 rating. So I'm going to go with a 6 out of 10 as well. So for scary stories to tell in the dark, if you're really hoping for a badass horror that's really going to scare you or that maybe is more engaging, I would check out, wait a little bit for It 2, save your money on this one. Otherwise, if what you heard sounded good, go check it out. It's not a bad film by any means, and yeah, I think that's it. Let's go ahead and talk spoilers in the spoiler section. So stick around for that. If not, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show.
Bye, guys.
Welcome to the spoiler section. So, what stories did you go ahead?
I think that sucked for the whole thing. Well, the main thing was the whole cerebellum story.
Yeah,
that's what kind of sucked for me. I kind of wanted it to be kind of like I know it sounds stupid, but like what was it, Goosebumps? When the book opens up and just bam, stories
stuff
are
happens
there.
or something.
Oh, you wanted it to be a cartoon, Joe?
No, not
I
like
actually
cartoons,
like the cerebellum stuff in the
cerebellos
stuff that it tied it together, and she was actually writing the story, and she's got a lot of rage. The story goes that you would go to this creepy house. nobody knew what she looked like, but you could talk to her through the door because her parents would lock her in the door in her closet or whatever, and she would tell you scary stories. Some kids made it back, some kids wouldn't. But really what was going on is she, was telling people that her family was
Mercury in the
poisoning.
water.
Yeah, the mill that essentially made the town was poisoning kids, and that's how these kids
Yeah, the ground
were
they
dying.
contaminated the water with mercury, and all the kids.
They
were
weren't dying from scary stories; they were dying from this. And she was trying to tell people that, and so her mother and her brothers were being abusive, and they put her in an insane asylum at one point, and they were just electrocuting her, basically really abusive to her. And then her mind just snaps. And she's like, okay, you want me to tell you the truth, I'll tell you. And then you hear her in this creepy recording, which I thought was a well-done scene, this little wax recording scene, and you learn this backstory through that scene. And now she can really, control stories and make things happen and kill people. And so what monsters were involved here? The very first one, obviously,
Harold.
Harold.
The
Was
Scarecrow.
that the brother, or who was it?
No. He's just a jackass.
Because whenever
Oh.
they're running around, he's like, Harold, go find her. I was like, wait, is that the Scarecrow?
Yeah, all of them were supposed to be.
No,
They're all
so
connected, right?
there are a few little what things
Yeah,
in the
so-
film. In this particular film that I don't see often in films. Like at one point, they say Ruth. Okay, I don't want to jump ahead. Let's go back to Harold. So why did he hate the Scarecrow his whole life? He's just beating
He's just scared of him,
hit
so
him.
he just grew angry.
No, he's just beating it up with a baseball bat. And this Scarecrow looks fucking realistic as fuck. I'm like, what Scarecrow looks like that? Right? They should have said something like, it looks like his ex... or it looks like his,
so like, oh shit.
it looks like his stepfather or
Okay.
something like that,
Something
and
like
his
that.
stepfather beats him or something. That would have given way more attention to that and given it
PG-13.
whatever.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I
All right.
know.
So anyway,
It's
he's
sucks.
abusive to the Scarecrow and to these kids. Writes wet back on this new kid's car. One of our main characters who comes, he's apparently a draft dodger because this whole thing is set in the 60s during the Vietnam War, which I felt like they kept shoving in our face just to make sure that you knew it was in the 60s. So the monster comes after him first. Scarecrow, walks towards him, stabs him with.
Teleports all over the damn field.
You're right. I forgot that the Scarecrow teleported. It had to because it's like, creak. Quick! I'm like, he ain't never catching
He's
up.
already been teleporting the entire time. When he's moving slow, it's like, what does it matter? You've already been bouncing all over this giant
But
cornfield.
Alex, your point where that
It's
loses
still-
tension,
I think
I
it's still
agree with you
creepy.
because I felt like there wasn't a lot of wasn't enough. But I'm saying, Alex, why can't there be a fucking galactic level threat? You know what I mean? Where you're like, I can't get away from it. That's
exactly what it is.
tension.
That's
So
in
scary.
I
itself.
thought that first time it was fine,
closing in
and then
on
the very next bad guy was the corpse with the missing
The
toe.
toe.
The corpse with the missing toe can also teleport
Oh,
and drag
shit.
you into
You
a
are so
dimension
right. I
that
am
doesn't
so wrong.
exist. And then
I am so wrong.
The,
Okay.
the very next one is the Andy Serkis, the fat pale lady who can teleport and clone herself.
Into different hallways, and she walks slowly towards you, and then she puts you in her belly while she smiles, which was creepy.
Super creepy.
I thought it made me
like
laugh. I was like, "This is stupid," but the scene kept going, and I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, cool."
Yeah, he's like, oh shit, where's he gonna go?
I
Oh,
liked
he's
it.
dead.
He just accepts the hug. He's like, all right.
I'm really mad though that he died. What's that kid's name?
Chuck.
Chuck,
Because
yeah.
I liked him. And at the end, they sequel bait and say Chuck and Agnes, whatever. Augie. I feel like they're still alive in the stories. We gotta go find them or something
Yeah.
like that.
And she's like that with her shotgun.
No, she didn't do that show. It's not a quiet place. And I don't know. Towards the end of okay, so let's keep going with the monsters. You got the Scarecrow. You got the lady with the toe. That I actually
The
really
tie
enjoyed.
walk-
No,
what
I
is it,
could kind of
tie walk or
understand your
something?
7 because she was creepy and. That was when the audience was in it.
Yeah, I was
The
in it too.
audience
I
was
was like,
in
holy
it.
shit. I was like, where is she?
I heard
On
the
top,
audience go.
on the bottom?
Everybody got real quiet when he goes under the bed. You assume that she comes in the door creaks open, but nobody comes out. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
and
I guess I'm
he's underneath the bed. He closes his eyes. It's like, what are you doing closing your eyes?
Yeah, don't close your eyes. What's
you gotta
wrong with
find
you?
out where the fuck it is.
And he's looking left and right, and the camera work is really good because you're
Yeah.
like, it's gonna be in our face. It's gonna be in our face.
And that worked for me. I was like,
And then he
alright,
comes
alright.
out real slow. The audience is like laughing nervously, and then he looks up on top of the bed, and she's not there. But then she's under the bed with him, and she pulls him. And I was like, all right, that was well done.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, and then what else? What did you do? Then we go to the. So then we kind of had a dead moment, you know. You got me going. Then there's more like historical
We had the spider.
research.
The spider.
Oh yeah,
Spider.
Spider Lady.
Yeah.
Spider Lady. I heard about this story. Now, I don't know. Maybe at school I just heard about somebody else who read the book that was telling this story where spiders. She was like a girl was taking a shower, is what I remember. And while she was
Arachnophobia,
taking
yeah.
a shower, it burst from her face or something like that. And that happens here. But she doesn't die in this one.
They
They're
saved
actually
her.
able to interrupt. Like, what do you mean? How are you interrupting? You know, the rules don't really make sense. Why doesn't the spiders continue to bite her or kill her? No, they don't even attack her. They
Yeah, just
push
Chuck
the
comes
spiders
in
away.
and he just comes in with dirty
It's
mop
yeah,
water.
well,
and then one of those weird things happens where it's like, my sister is gone.
I
And I
thought
was
she
like,
was dead.
no, she's not dead.
She's like in the background. I'm here.
Yeah, she's just going to, and she's like, and they take her to a mental hospital right away. That's not what would happen. And then they're all saying, like, she's in the mental hospital forever. This cop.
It's like this happened
Hey,
yesterday.
man.
She's not in a normal hospital. She has a big hole in her face.
What the
fucking
fuck? Why is
60s.
she in there
It's the
forever?
60s, maybe.
Oh,
She
that's
thought She
true,
was on
60s.
LSD or
Yeah.
something.
No, that
Drugs.
so
Drugs.
the film has a little like what moments like you're trying to
because
jam
I thought
things
she was
in
dead
and force
too.
it. Okay, and then finally
So
they
the kill
figure
count
out
was 3.
kill count was 3. The cop
Oh,
was
4. 4, right? With the cop.
Yeah, the cop dies.
Okay, so the cop, catches up with Ramon and realizes he's a draft dodger. He actually thinks that this kid killed the high school bully
Tommy.
because they had an altercation before, and he doesn't believe him, locks him up, and he's like, "This book, that's ridiculous." And then he starts to read a story. It starts to happen, and it's after Ramon. Now Ramon says that he didn't want to do Vietnam because his brother came back in a body bag in pieces.
Yeah.
And then when the story starts, it's this monster that comes in pieces. But then he's like, "This is a camp tale."
like, oh,
That's terrified me as a kid.
Terrified me as a kid. But then the monster's screaming "coward" and he's in pieces, and I was thinking, wait, is it his brother? I guess it kind of mixed those two
Yeah.
things together
Yeah.
because it's his imagination. The monster uses your fears against you.
The book reads
And
us.
that one was one of my favorites. Even though it was on full display in CGI and a little awkward and a little fakey, it was creepy enough that the effect, even though you could see it full force there, not hidden by shadows, it still kind of worked. Did it work for y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the vast majority of the time, when it's like moving around and it's like heads twisting around in different ways, it's like that was super creepy.
Yeah.
There's other times where it's just standing.
I
up
liked
there.
how he could talk.
Yeah.
That one I enjoyed, and so I could see.
Yeah,
a
I didn't
7.
really hate any of the monsters. They were all good.
Now talking about it, Okay, so then they chase him, and he's like sticks his head through the jail bars. He's just like desperately wants to get at this kid. That was creepy. And I was like, all right, that's well done. They escape and smash the monster against something because it's like, how do you stop these things if they're supernatural? Like Alex is saying, it's like, well, why is he stuck? Why can't he just teleport like everything
Yeah.
else?
Yeah,
right.
that didn't
But he
make
does. He falls into his pieces
He's just
again.
trying to buy some time while Stella's over there trying to.
Yeah, we had
tell
more
the
plot to
truth.
develop.
So Stella, this girl the whole time, she's got this side plot that really goes nowhere and does nothing with her father.
Yeah.
They keep bringing this up, that her father works really hard,
And
guys,
her mother left.
and she doesn't want to leave. And it's like there's more to this story, but it never really
There had to be
develops.
deleted scenes because there's
That's
an
what I was
awkward
thinking.
scene with Chuck where he walks up to them and he's like, "I had this dream about the red room and this pale lady that really freaked me out," before even they get to the hospital, and it was so abrupt that he mentioned it.
And we're
that
like, we haven't really
we haven't
seen
got there
that.
yet. Like, why are you having dreams about this?
But I think he was referring to when they were originally in the haunted house, and it was a red room and an old lady and her Doberman, the mother character.
No, but he said
No,
fat
he
lady.
said
He said fat pale
fat,
lady.
pale-
So he was
yeah.
talking.
I did, yeah. That was another one of those things where me and Joe were like, there seems to be some inconsistencies here. Because she
Yeah.
said fat, and I was like, no, that old lady
Like,
was not fat.
skinny. Yeah.
Okay.
And we never went anywhere with that.
Exactly. So that's why it loses some points. Even though we're talking about great monsters, there's some inconsistencies.
It's not an unwatchable movie. Like, you can go there and enjoy it,
No.
but I think it's above average, but I don't think it's that above average.
Right, above average. So eventually, Stella, she's really good with stories too. She's well versed in monster stories. She collects monster magazines and things, and she's a little bit of a writer herself. She decides, fuck this, I'm gonna run to the haunted house where we got this stuff and try to explain to Sarah to stop doing these things. I know
I didn't like
that you didn't like that.
No.
I was like, that's how you end this. How else could you end this?
But she's
appeal to this monster to stop attacking people because she knows the truth that she was abused when she was a little girl, and this does work. The family, she like gets almost teleported into the past. The family grabs Stella as if she's Sarah and locks her up and mistreats her and stuff. At the same time, the boy is running from the jigsaw creature, right?
in the future, in the present.
In the present. So you got two stories being written at once? What the hell, Sarah? This is bullshit.
She
Finish
can't
one
do
story.
that.
She can't do that, right? But no, so she gets Sarah to stop because she's like, I know what happened. Let me tell your story. And then she pricks her hand and starts writing Sarah's story in her own blood.
right
and
before
so Sarah,
she's like, all right, time to leave. And then she does one last jump scare.
Yeah,
For no reason.
she just goes, "Rah!"
Yeah, for no
Why?
reason.
No, because I can tell y'all why.
Okay.
Oh.
That I have an explanation for. She's letting out her rage. You remember they kept saying rage, rage.
She killed 4
rage.
people. How much more rage does she have?
She had some more rage. She was
killed
gonna
a lot of kids.
She was gonna kill more.
Killed her
But
family.
what was the rage about? Did they
She
take
killed
the
her
book?
family already.
No,
She killed 4 people because they took the book?
no, because her family killed her, and she just wants to.
She
let
killed
out.
all of her
She-
family.
She
yeah,
did.
but she just wants to kill. Okay.
Oh, again,
Fuck it.
more. But she
So
her
she
way.
stops her rage. She screams one final time, fades
Yeah.
away. Everything is fine, but everything's not fine because the film has this like, wait a minute, like that's kind of screwed up. We got these 2 characters that were fucking awesome, dead.
Dead.
The funny kid and Augie
Augie
the
and Chuck
clown is
He wasn't a clown.
What was it?
Alex should know.
You can't say it. It's a French
No.
word. It's like I've never
Something
heard
with
of it.
P?
It's a French clown.
French
Puree, whatever. Puree.
You're right.
Perrier.
Isn't that like
Perrier,
Perrier.
yes.
there you
He's
go.
a Perrier.
He's Perrier. But no, so I liked those characters, and I was like, oh, are they gonna like pop out of her womb or something like that? She lets
Ew.
it go or something, right? No, pop because she stuffed that one kid in her womb.
No, fuck
I thought that was
Tommy.
gonna pop.
Let him stay dead.
No, that's the high school kid I'm talking about.
Puro.
Well, yeah, but if like everything releases, then
Yeah,
he
fuck
would
Tommy. You
he
want
would
him-
have to
you want him
come
to
back
stay
too.
dead.
Yeah, dead forever because that guy sucks.
Well, the sequel tries to bait. It's like they're still alive. I'm gonna find a way to get them out, right? But I was like, well, that kind of resolves the whole. How can all these different monsters happen at once? Because if it's no longer being controlled by Sarah,
That's why I was
she's no
hoping they
longer
would do
mad. Then
something
how
different.
could you do that?
Yeah.
Then I guess here's how you could do it. The stories start to write themselves again. But it's not Sarah, it's the family or something because they're real mean and crazy, right?
So it's
And so
basically-
she goes into that realm to save her friends, but she also has to deal with the family who was killed by Sarah, who is also in this realm. Oh, yeah, that high school bullies there, too.
So basically, it falls back to Goosebumps because then the dummy gets the book and he starts writing evil stuff.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. I don't know how they would continue it. It's not a
I
real...
don't.
And did they kidnap Ruth at the end? Because Ruth has a family, and they like they take her out of the mental hospital, and she's in the back seat of the car. It's like
Just smiling.
it's
I was like,
you guys are moving like
what?
cross country because
Wait.
like they moved their whole house. It's like, wait, why do you have
And if
her?
we're to believe this movie, she's like insane.
Crazy.
So so I guess like it's this Scooby-Doo clan of one crazy girl.
yeah, like what is she gonna do? He's like, hey,
one
this is a real
writer,
truth. It's like
and
you just
one-
wrote that. Why am I gonna believe you?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
Oh.
just weird.
Yeah.
Weird ending.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. So
No, I did
then,
enjoy it till
then Ramon
The
goes to war, right? So he
Yeah.
doesn't join the group. He's fighting a war in Vietnam. Probably dies. And it's just,
Oh, fun.
well, we had a lot of casualties. And then she and her dad and Ruth are going to solve mysteries.
She's
I
in the
guess.
back.
Yeah.
Very hard ending.
It
A
was
real,
real weird.
real
Yeah.
try-hard ending to
Huh.
get some more films out of this. So we're a little confused. We did enjoy it, but we thought it would be better. And that's it. This
Yeah.
one's too long already. Thank you so much for watching. We shall see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Make sure you like and subscribe.
And check out our merch down below.
All right. Thank you, guys. See you on next time.